Flashback to ancient Egypt. The year is 51 BC, and Cleopatra's father has just passed away, leaving Cleopatra and her brother the throne. Cleopatra will soon run away to escape her brother and find refuge and assistance from Julius Caesar. It is with her first meetings of Caesar that Cleopatra will begin to build her reputation of having power over men. In this painting, Cleopatra and the Peasant, Cleopatra has been painted with a peasant by Eugene Delacroix. Both individuals are looking at a point off the page. Cleopatra is sitting in an ornate chair, with the peasant crouched next to her, holding a plant, which is assumedly a present for Cleopatra herself. The peasant has an intrigued, almost knowing expression on his face, while Cleopatra is observing the off-canvas scene with an almost bored expression. Cleopatra has been rendered by Eugene Delacroix as the commanding figure within the painting, because of her facial expression. By painting Cleopatra in this manner, Delacroix is emphasizing the power Cleopatra has been rumored to have, especially over the men in her life. To understand Cleopatra's power over men that emanates from this painting, we must look into Cleopatra's past. The first man I mentioned was Julius Caesar, so let's start there. When Cleopatra ran away from her brother, she came across Julius Caesar and determined she must have a meeting with him. She had her servant, Apollodorus, wrap her in a carpet and take her into Caesar. Cleopatra made an entrance by unrolling from the carpet, as can be seen in this painting, Cleopatra and Caesar, by Jean-Léon Gérôme. Her mystic shown in Delacroix's painting has stemmed from when she first began making impressions on men, such as Caesar. The next great man Cleopatra conquered was Mark Antony. Mark Antony, a Roman general, became entranced by Cleopatra and had 3 children with her. In the painting Antony and Cleopatra by Elf Finn, Cleopatra is showing Antony something off the painting. She is controlling the painting by being in charge of where Antony is looking and the obvious entrancement with whatever he is being shown. This is the reverse of what is happening in Cleopatra and the Peasant, because Cleopatra is obviously not intrigued by whatever she is being shown by the peasant. But both situations show Cleopatra in control. So if Cleopatra was married to Mark Antony, why is she in a private setting with a peasant? In Egypt, while monogamy was encouraged, monarchs rarely abided by these rules. So while Cleopatra is wearing a ring on her ring finger, which holds significance to us now, it was not expected that she would be monogamous. The passive expression on Cleopatra's face is also not an uncommon representation of her. In this painting, Antony and Cleopatra, by Lawrence Alma Tadeba, Cleopatra dominates the painting again, having the passive facial expression while others show awe in their faces while looking at her. Although the peasant is not looking directly at her, the excitement in his face expresses the amazement he has about Cleopatra and the evident control she has over the situation. Stemming from her power, Cleopatra's fame has been well known throughout history. But as a coin was recently discovered with a representation of her, it has been determined that her fame was not for her glorious looks, but rather her personality and allure. She had a power which emanates from her representation by Delacroix that is well known throughout the ancient world. Cleopatra's need to maintain power lasted until she ultimately killed herself, so that Octavian, Caesar's son, could not capture her. She chose to end her life on her own terms, which many powerful individuals have chosen in the past. In this painting, Death of Cleopatra, by Guido Canacci, Cleopatra's power remained with her, even after her death. Her servants and others still crowd around the now dead Cleopatra. Delacroix's depiction of Cleopatra has been repeated in many other paintings we have examined today. So while we may never know exactly what Cleopatra and the peasant are looking at off the canvas, we can be fairly certain that Cleopatra was holding the power. As a woman whose name often preceded her and still lives on today, she is an icon and still holds power over us as we look at paintings of her and learn her story.